Some of you might remember a couple of years ago when I let Brad get beat up by a Systema guy. I say I let him get beat up, Brad let himself get beat up. Recently we've had a couple of requests for this video to be re-uploaded, so today, here it is. Systema is a very strange martial art. It claims to not really be a martial art, but a skill for self-defense and for only combat use, which sounds like something a Bushido artist would say. If you can't practice it, and you can't train it, and you can't use it, then what's the fucking point in doing it? Recently, Sensei Seth did a video where he attended a full class. He got essentially rolled over, punched in the chest multiple times, did some funny drills, some funny stretching, and then kind of said again, it hurts, because it does.
That was very significant.
Yeah. I'm going to push from my foot and move my hip with my foot.
Okay.
Right. This is the weird stuff when you see it online. People like doing all that stuff.
Yeah, I could very easily clip just that.
Yeah. What I don't want to do is show you exactly how I'm hitting harder. To be fairly clear, this is not really our style.
So today I thought I'd repost this video for you guys, which we filmed almost 4 years ago, which was on the old Fight Perfect channel. Give up to Fight Perfect. But it never made the Fight Bible channel. So today I've re-edited the video. I'm going to repost it for you all guys to enjoy. And hopefully we might even get somebody else come in contact with us that wants to train with myself and Brad in another obscure martial art. And maybe next time, if we do Systema again, we might do a little bit more of an in-depth review on it. Buckle up, enjoy the video, and let's just watch Brad get punched by a very, very crazy looking Russian dude.
So behind punch, that doesn't need to be breached through your body to the ground. So this is one of dogma, the punch must be, you have to be solid somehow if you want to throw strong punch. I know that in the system I look a little bit suspicious that people make like big movements like this. We do the big movements just on the beginning to feel the kinetic energy. And if you have good feeling for kinetic energy and you, this is big, smaller, 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 and on the end it can be just something like this because I hide the wave. On the beginning, on the training, we're training big wave, but on the street, I want to hide the wave. I don't want to show you my movements.
Ah, see, now we're getting somewhere. This is why we actually really enjoyed Tibi's visit. What you see in a Systema video of these big, wild, flapping attacks is the basis of their training. They're gaining the momentum which they then refine into much smaller movements. That big throwing a ball into a hammer fist generates a lot of speed. Baseball players can throw a ball at like 100 miles an hour. So if you can refine that 100 mile an hour speed of your wrist coming through into a much smaller, tighter movement, you have a really effective strike. And that's something which we have taken away from this visit. Like, a lot of the big, floaty, absorbing moves and things like that don't play too well into an MMA game because it's a lot tighter. And you have someone trying to punch you in the face, so doing like an absorbing body move does not work. Whereas this cool little hammer fist, it can work really well, which we demonstrate later on in the video. Let's get back to it.
So when I'm teaching beginners how to throw a straight right, I add a little whip, right? I exaggerate it, the same as he's saying. We do big motions first. Same as he was doing. So from here, when I throw a straight right, when I do it normally, boom, I whip it straight in. But if I slow that down to exaggerate, to explain it to kids or beginners, this is how I drill. I whip and fire that in. And that's exactly the same process that the Systema guys are doing as well. So they're doing all these big motions now, and then at the end, it's a crack. Right? I've not quite mastered it yet. We'll let him do a little hammer fist to my chest now, see what it feels like.
Yeah, so big hammer fist slowly.
Ugh! Fuck me.
Yeah. Then, without such long trajectory, so from halfway, or just here, nearly touching. Yeah, I'm touching him. So how to generate the power from touch? Because normally you have not so much space. So I'm going here. Yeah? So this is big. I don't do it such strong anymore, but. This I want. This I want, yeah? Oops.
Savage. That's going to be bruised tomorrow. It's the same as when we do hammer fist and mixed martial arts. They always told you to be super relaxed. Right? That would take teeth out. Trust me, tomorrow I won't be doing any push-ups. Be lucky if I can swallow after that. So it is highly effective. That whip is like a ball and chain. Just coming, boom. And then that's why they're exaggerating it to start off with. and then you get a little short, sharp one at the end, which is realistic. From big, long ones, it's too predictable and you can see. When you've mastered it, you get little short, sharp ones.
One of the way how we can punch is that a wrist is really relaxed, similar like this ball. So if I do this to Brett, to the chin, it wouldn't be nice. Same I can do it here. If I do it to the shoulder, it would like this.
Now, so we take that into a more efficient way of doing that. If he throws just the two, slightly bit harder, from here, without the ball with your hand, right, you're going to go with the two strikes a little bit harder, just boom, boom. Yeah, boom. That's the fucking way worse, that second one. Wow. That second one is way worse. When he hits my shoulder open and it comes back, and then he fucking deadens my arm with his knuckles. Once again, talking about those knuckles, he punches with the same ones. They are very, very effective. These punches do hurt, guys. They're not very pleasant. He wouldn't be able to throw 100 of them, you're right. But he managed to land 2 straight away before I'd have time to get away. And that is the point we're trying to put across. They drill Systema big, but when it comes to it, it's small and fast. So we've seen loads of videos and loads of people are trying to explain to us what Systema is, but no one's actually said what it is like Tibi's told us. This is completely different and it makes so much more sense to us. So the same way we drilled the jab in MMA, we repeat it over and over again. Big, small, big, small. They do the same thing with various punches all in one go, right? And what it is, you can't really tell what they're doing. If you break it down slowly and you'll see individual strikes, there you are. So you'd be doing this, something similar. I'm just making this up, guys, but this isn't actual news. So I'm coming around, then eventually you break it down, and you can see the individual strikes that they are throwing, right? They're just drilling it, getting the repetitions in, the same as we do in boxing with the jab cross, jab cross, jab cross. It's just repetition, repetition to make it subconscious. So when it comes to doing it, bang, pop, they're going. Or the one that he does to me, which is fucking horrible, open slap, come down the back. Imagine that in your face. So what looks silly when it's training, like that, throwing the ball around, when it actually hits me, it's quite painful. It wasn't nice. It was actually a lot of kinetic power. Whip, whip, all from training his muscles like this. It may look silly, but obviously it's effective. I've been boxing for years, right? And I got pretty much my punching down to my own personal style, right? I like to throw the hook, whip in the body, nice little whip in it, right? Now Tibi showed me a new way of punching. It's quite cool. It's super loose. It's out the way. You'll see what I mean when you see that in a minute. I've not seen it before, but it fucking hurts. It's still powerful, all right? Joe's going to pass me the pad. Now Tibi's going to talk you through it from here.
Yeah, so elbow is totally floppy. Elbow is like a nunchaku, if you play with nunchaku. And in this moment, I'm moving with my torso and with my upper arm, and in the right moment, I start bending the arm, and this power meet together here. So it looks something like this. Then on the end, you can also add other small nunchaku. What is wrist? So if wrist is here, yeah, this, yeah. So waving like this, I can speak, and meantime, I can punch it. That means that I don't need to stop breathing because I'm punching.
Ooh, TB. You've broken down a technique which usually looks fucking stupid. Shorten that movement. Obviously, as a nice big long punch, it looks absolutely weird as fuck, and it will be read and seen from a mile away. But having that loose elbow allows you to whip your fist round the side of someone's guard. They're in here, or if they go to tie block, your elbow, the inner of your elbow will bounce off their arm, and then the fist will whip round the back and potentially hit the chin. He can talk through this and still throw a very, very hard punch, because the wave movement is coming from his hips and his shoulders and his back, not coming from his shoulder muscles and his biceps and the extension of the elbow. The arm just flies free. Let's see what he does.
And I can feel the knuckles through that, guys, as well. I'm not bullshitting you. As he's hitting and it turns, I can feel it, the knuckles are dragging, sort of digging in to the pad. I can feel it taking my arm away. When he done it to my chest, I let him do it to my chest gently now because it's going to hurt. As he hits slowly, oh my good God, that is very powerful. You rub it, it makes fuck all difference. Now my heart stopped. But no, but that's just to show you the power you can produce from it, guys, right? It is the legit punch, right? How I would use it in MMA, I don't know. Again, this is the wide frequency movement. This is the exaggeration of it, right? He could also throw it really short and sharp, right? I know, I felt the power myself. It's not nice, right? The weight behind it, where he's so relaxed and it comes in, I can do it myself. The weight goes through it, the bend of the arm, the torque of the body. Now we need to figure out a way how to use this in MMA. How are we going to put this into an MMA situation? Are we going to be able to do this from a breakaway from clinch? Are we going to do this off the cage? Are we going to do this breaking away from upper half clinch? Are we going to use it on the ground? Why can't we use it on the ground? Trap an arm and use it then. I reckon there is a position I could actually use this from, right? If I got Tibi now with the underhook here, right? Just a normal pull here, hit him with that normal, right. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the Systema way with a double wham. So I'm going to come here, bam, bam, and hit him again. Tibi does it a little bit better than me. So when he does it, he also uses this. You go, boom. He does it about 32 times in 10 seconds, which is a bit more effective than me. But you can see how I took a little bit of that Systema away and I've used it, using that same whipping motion, right? If you do that whip again, whip, see, I can't quite do that yet. If I make the noise, it sounds good. Do it again. He actually makes a fucking noise. I just click my fingers. But from that position there, guys, I can see that being quite effective. How many times have you been here? Boom, boom, boom. And then he covers his face up with his hand. Here, why not? Bam, bam. Hit him with the double. Go for it. But a bit more flicky and a bit more snappy. It take me a bit. I'm not there yet, guys. I've only had 1 hour's training. All right? I've had 1 hour's training. All right? So if I make a nice short movement out of it, I reckon I can get a nice quality technique out of it.
Every MMA guy will know the collar tie in a clinch situation, which is where Tibi and Brad are now. A lot of guys, when they're training Systema, it's this movement, and people go, what the fuck is going on there? But check this out.
I attack him with my shoulder here. That makes me space to come with elbow here. Yeah. So elbow is coming like this, like open and little bit there. In the little bit bigger speed, it would look like this. And here, for example, I'm into situation to do something else.
Grab my head.
Okay, again. Okay.
Go. And you can see, guys, as soon as you control that head, he twists me here. He's got the head drag, right? You probably didn't see it, but he pulled me away. My hips come forward. I lost my momentum. Boom, straight on the ground. And then he controlled my head. He started doing some strikes. For jiu-jitsu guys, you could have gone for the neck, could have gone for a submission. For Systema guys, they continue striking. So in practice, that move looks like this. That's why it looks so silly sometimes, but when it's done to you, trust me, it's not so silly. So you hardly ever see shoulder punches. I've seen them once in a while, they're as rare as rock and all shit. But as you saw then, they're highly effective. I think I'm going to start adding that to my game. It's quite an effective move. You don't really see it coming, and it hits you out of nowhere, and it fucking hurts. But it leaves you in a good position. Tibi, what is your favourite move?
I have many favorite moves, but I show something what I think that can be useful for you. Somebody has a guard here. So firstly, if I'm hard and you be strong, yeah? So I cannot put you down. But if I'm going like a whip, try to hold it.
I can.
Yeah? This. Yeah? And if I am nicely floppy from here, I can accelerate to the strike. So the situation can look like this. Yeah? Here. And from this, I take dynamic. Or it can be to other guard, we are here. I want to, he's nice, covered. So I want to open him like this and then punch him. So I'm going this, yeah? Or here, hammer fist. Firstly going in front of him, I don't open him, yeah? I can flow also around, or this, and you are in. So, this.
And I'm telling you guys, that first one sucks dick. That is not pleasant. If he does it again, I could not resist. He was even doing it soft. I could not resist.
I do slowly, so there is not full speed.
Just my body won't let me do it. It's just like, sort of jolts me away, which is quite scary, really. I like that. Practice that and throw straight on the end of it or something, do you know what I mean? Could you do that same move? So if I'm doing that to you, if you do that to me again, sorry, could you hit that down and then go straight into a hook? Could you do that?
Yeah, it can be also here. So slowly, this and this. I actually,
boom.
This.
Oh, so that's better. Do that again. Right, this is live for the camera. I've genuinely asked him this question, what's his favourite move? And this is how martial artists learn off each other, right? I know I'm normally one to criticise or wind someone up, but this is how you genuinely learn new stuff, right? That's how you learn as martial artists, guys.
Okay, so What we took from the day, essentially, is that there are some really interesting moves inside a completely different style of fighting. We think it's still a long way off before it can be properly introduced into a mixed martial arts background, and especially into things like the UFC. But there are definitely movements which the conventional fighter would not think about doing, which Systema has a really interesting concept on. Especially, like we said, the whippy wrist stuff. We wish we could have got to spend more time with TB. Sadly, he had to go home. We would have loved to have gone into more of the sort of absorption of power sort of techniques, which you tend to see a lot of the Systema videos doing, of people sort of wobbling and falling around and avoiding punches. That's also down to the point that they don't spar. So it's all about shot avoidance rather than taking the punches in the face and working through those punches. In normal MMA, we spar, you get punched, you get hit, you go through, you keep working, you keep doing your combinations, and you try and win a fight. Whereas what we've seen with the traditional Systema videos is there's an aggressor, there's a defender, the aggressor throws a couple of shots, the defender goes to the floor. And that's the end of that drill, which we think is probably what causes the massive stigma about Systema. There are some strikes which are really, really good. I think once it loses the flappiness of it, it becomes very painful, as Brad found out quite a lot.
So there you go, guys. That is some really interesting Systema tactics and techniques which can be applied to an actual MMA game. The training itself does look completely random and weird, but it's individual techniques broken down. We've watched quite a few Systema videos ever since we did our first one, because we got so much hate and people saying, you don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about. So we looked into it, and not a single one of the actual videos online broke it down properly. Brad's taken more punches in the chest, which I'm fucking glad he's doing it and not me.
Conditioned.
Conditioned. He's
Beast,
conditioned to be hit a lot. And I think that some of these little whippy moves, if used properly in an MMA game, can be incredibly useful, especially on the inside. It's weird because a lot of people see Systema as this longer game because of the wildness of the limbs that go everywhere. But I think the closeness of it is actually a really interesting aspect. That ability to generate massive momentum using the whip of your wrist from a close distance, I think is really, really important. Anything you want to add, Brad?
No, it's more painful than it looks.
Yeah. Getting punched tends to hurt.
Give it a try.
Yeah.
You've got to try it.
Yeah, exactly. But for now, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. But for now, guys, we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.